Hello, everybody. I know this is the last few hours we are together, and so it's not easy after this dense program and after lunch. And therefore, we just start with the impact session. And this should show what we really have achieved, the concrete results. And for that, I would like, so first, I think Helene Vogelmann is the first presenter. She is the Research and Innovation Coordinator in North Middle West in Sweden. She does innovation. She's an expert in innovation systems and process development, in multi-stakeholder governance, and so a long list. She's really an expert in regional development, and I'm very pleased that you present the impact of Värmland. Helene.
Marianne.
You have 10 minutes.
Yeah, and you cue me, right?
Yes.
Good. The green button. This reminds me of Matrix. Are you going to take the red pill or the blue pill? The green one. But it doesn't move. Yeah. What? Ah. Okay. First of all, thank you for having me here as telling about the impact in Värmland that DigiTeRRI has had and still has. And also, I would like to extend a great thank you to the DigiTeRRI team and the leadership. It has and is excellent. And I think this is a project that combines excellence with passion and having fun. And the last one is really important to keep us going. Now, impact. I think impact is one of those words that it's really like a box, right? It's edgy, it's hard to understand, it's demanding. You know, you have to show, in terms of results, you have to show long-term impact often. And I think that is quite a tough thing in a 3-year project. So I would like to quote a poet from Sweden who's called, his name was, he's dead now, Gunnar Ekelöf. And he said in one of his poems that you can see a large ship in the fog way out on the ocean. And the only notion you have that something is there is a shadow moving very slowly. And maybe you hear the engines quite far away. But you know that it's there because there's one wave, there's another wave, and there's a third wave. And I think impact is actually, I would change the word, I know it's required, but to change. And what is change fundamentally? We've had so many great speakers here yesterday and today, and I'm not going to word about it. I think it has been said a lot about it, but I think change and transformation is much more human. We all feel, in one way we love change, and in many ways we fear change. And we love to tell everybody else that they have to change. But when it comes to oneself or the own organization, that's quite hard, actually. So that was just a little bit of thoughts that I got. Now, this is Karlstad. It's a beautiful, beautiful river, Klarälven, and it's about a little bit over 100,000 inhabitants. One perspective of impact or change is that if you're a small region, change implies something, I think. And Anders has very forcefully and very good explained how we work in Värmland. And I'm going to build on that. And I think that the density of networking has been building up in, over 25 years or so, with clusters, the Academy for Smart Specialization, the politicians are on board, and so on and so on. But change, real change for a small territory implies, in my mind, that you have to go outside in as well. So we are the smallest territory in the DigiTeRRI project, so we're the babies, right? Or let's say the teenagers, in size-wise. And it implies to me, for a transformatorial future, it implies to me that it's really important to go outside the territory and bring home new ideas, knowledge, examples, but most of all, bring back networking, the individual networking between people and then their organizations. And I think DigiTeRRI has been a wonderful example, and it's a huge impact, I think, for our territory in Värmland. Another thing about, that was the pro, and there's always another side of the coin, right? So the other side of the coin is that the density of networking and the tight networks and the common understanding in between organizations and individuals in Värmland also can build small walls of letting the new actually come in to the development of Värmland. And I think that's always a danger when you have a really strong network. You have to also realize that people or organizations or ideas that come in needs to be curated so they're not pushed off the cliff in a way. So here are some facts. There are 16 municipalities. We're quite few, as I said, and we have lots of forest. And we have mooses, and we have wild animals, and so on. And I think we share this love for nature and natural resources with Styria, as we listened today. Actually, I've been hiking in all the 16 municipalities, so I kind of feel like I know a little bit of Värmland. Okay, now to the hard facts. The hard fact is that North Middle Sweden, not only Värmland, has a great challenge. It has all to do about being innovative, but it has to do about competitiveness and attractiveness. Attractiveness of people, money, and companies. And that is in a long-term game, right? So that is not a quick fix. And it's all about this, actually. If we believe, this is an analogy with a frog, and I don't know if it's true, but somebody might enlighten me, is that when you put a frog in a cold pot, it stays there. And it feels like, ooh, this is a nice environment. And then you turn up the heat, and it still stays there. It doesn't jump out. But in terms of being transformative, and in terms of embracing digitalization on all levels, from all aspects, not only the industry and the companies, the whole of Värmland, we need to recognize that without digitalization and what it can bring in terms of green transformation, twin transition, and so on, we need to see that we may be on dial 2 on the stove. So the water is getting warmer, and we need to jump out. And I think projects like DigiTeRRI, in terms of impact or change, bring that recognition in many ways. And one recognition is very human, to listen to other people, to listen to other organizations. Great examples today from Styria. That builds up the courage to keep on the work and say to the other frogs in their pots on the stove, to say, guys, let's jump out together and create the new future. Let's do it. And early on in the project, in terms of change and impact, what DigiTeRRI has brought to us is that we actually asked a national network, an organization, to explain to us, and it was Costa University and Eamon who arranged it, what is RRI? And I have to admit, I take it on myself, that I just thought, what is RRI? Is it social innovation? Is it impact investment? Is it demand-driven innovation? Is it challenge-driven innovation? Is it societal challenges? What is it? And I have a background as a CEO from Mobile Heights, which is a digital IoT, AI, and so on cluster in southern Sweden. So I kind of grasped a little bit of digitalization, but RRI put together with digitalization, I think that workshop you had, Eamon, at Costa University, helped all of us in Sweden, in Värmland, to get a kind of notion how we could manage this. And as we listened yesterday, there are disasters innovation and innovation strategies, and there are value-based innovation strategies. And I think that one thing that we can take with us, and impact-wise or change-wise, is always to ask ourselves when we do projects or strategies or funding, do we actually have all these aspects of our RRI with us, mainstreaming it into what we do? And I'm happy to announce that DigiTeRRI also has impact in Dalarna. And we are not replicating, because you can't do that, but we're taking what we learned from DigiTeRRI and the implementation of the project in Värmland to Dalarna into a process with the research and innovation actors and the civil society in Dalarna. And we will see what the results will be. The last workshop, the third, is in the 16th of November. And so far, over 70 people have participated. And as many of you have said, this is a journey. And I'm looking at Anders. And I think the smart specialization strategy is one of the vehicles that we will use as an overall driver, and also emphasize digitalization as a horizontal means and RRI as a kind of spectra to bring up the value-based innovation perspective, and also a vertical area that we will work with in the strategy. And of course, there are immaturities. And I would say that the broadband is quite okay in Värmland. It's been developing quite good. And it's also a national priority for Sweden. I would agree with the speakers today from the business side that we have the same challenges when it comes to SMEs. We also have excellent research, but how do we bring knowledge into companies to create innovation and value for them? And we've been talking just during lunch shortly how we could do that and how we could think about that. So that's also an impact that when we meet and other knowledge and dialogues comes to us, we think about, I think the last word was action. We think about how can we make this actionable, which brings me back to where I started, actually, change. And I want to bring this on a personal note, because I won't point at you and say you have changed. I will point at myself and say that truly the DigiTeRRI Project has brought me to another understanding of value-based innovation in terms of digitalization. And I can see now in a policy perspective where the EU Commission is going. But also on a personal note to all of you and the DigiTeRRI team, it has brought me a lot of new colleagues that are much brighter than me. So thank you much.
Next, I will introduce Franz Edler. He has a doctoral degree in engineering from the Montana University in Leoben. He is a manager in the Center for Applied Science in Leoben. You know him, for supporting spin-offs. And yeah, Franz, the floor is yours.
6 minutes.
Because, yeah.
So,
Franz has to share the time with Erich, because we have two presenters here, okay?
So we heard today that all about sharing, so I shared my time with Erich. Yes, thank you. I'm Franz Edler. I'm working for an incubator in Leoben, and that's an incubator for spin-offs from the Montana University and startups in Leoben. And I'm part of the DigiTeRRI team in Styria. And so, the big one. So my part of the project was together with Erich. So we are in the side of startups, entrepreneurs, and to bring that all together with the RRI aspects in the region. And so the first thing was we have a stakeholder workshop in Bruck-an-der-Mur, and then we developed the roadmap. And after the roadmap, we have to define the actions that we can go through this roadmap. And for that, it was very important that we get an image about our society in our region. So, and then I worked, I just have the discussion with Julia, and it was very special because we recognized that you are not only a person in the region, you are also a person who is the manager of an industrial company or a SME, or you're working for an organization. But also you are a family father, and you are a member of a football team, and so on. And so that's bubbles in the society, but you are everywhere. So you jump from one bubble to the other, and you have to find the interface, you have the contact points. And so our region is a big bubble form, and we have to strengthen that, and then we have to force the cohesion from all these bubbles. And digitalization can help us to manage all these things. So that were our goals. So to strengthen the regional cohesion, and also to make the regional offers more easily available, so that we make awareness programs, we make trainings, and also all under the law of the European law from the data protection. That is very important, because we should go a unique way in the world, in that way that we think that our values are implemented in that way. So we split it in two parts. There was a regional part from the actions, and the cross-regional action from the DigiTeRRI project. So on the regional side, we thought about that. We made a workshop about a regional universal platform, and then 3 minutes, and then also combine it with marketing strategies, new marketing strategies for startups and SMEs in the region, and also the best practice cases from cities and the municipalities. So bring everything together and learn from the best cases from the cities, because they have more money than a small municipal with about 600 to 1,000 inhabitants. And maybe find more interfaces for the multi-platform region. In that way, the digital, because we have a regional platform, we have municipal platform, we have city platforms, and how to bring them together. And also we have lighthouse projects. Erich was very busy in that part, which we have to make a nudge for those people in the society who don't very traditional people and traditional companies as well. They don't like to aware them that they can profit from this digitalization, and they can make their company more successful. So, and the international part was very interesting, because with Brigitte we make the B2P meetings. That's the meetings, 20 minutes over the DigiTeRRI regions, and so you get the possibility to talk with people for a certain time, 20 minutes, and it was very fruitful for all of the DigiTeRRI team, as well as participants from Europe. And we make an incubator exchange, and the aim was to cooperate, to find cooperation actions for supporting startups in our regions. And So we invented training for international online fairs because so you can combine everything. So the challenge to explore new markets, to the appearance on online fairs, so it's a little bit different to an physical fair with an online booth, and how I get visible on such an online fair. And what's very special is all under the aspects of the RRI keys also, and it was very interesting because I have a discussion with Stéphanie, and as I explained to her our plan for such a training for online fairs, she told me, but you forgot the gender aspect. So, and this one was very good because, okay, but gender and online fairs, how can I connect that? And then, yes, because we have experts, they give feedback to the exhibitors, and they can also give them a feedback if a female or a male is attractive to this company, and also from all regions from DigiTeRRI. So we have experts from all regions from DigiTeRRI, and they give the feedback to the exhibitors, and so they get knowledge about the market also from another country. Yes, and so that was, I come to the end. There was a little aspect from the RRI, but that the key topics from the RRI was very helpful, because so if you are organizing an event and an action, they're always implemented, and they give you that you don't forget something which is really important for the society. So, thank you. So.
Now, is this here? Okay. Erich Weber. He is the managing director in City of Brook on the Moor. He deals with marketing, labor market and policy measures, economic development, city marketing, event organizations. Okay?
The big bubble.
So, and he presents some specific impacts he achieved in DigiTeRRI.
Yes, thank you. Welcome. I will now do the nightmare for the organizers of this meeting. I will cancel at the moment all my presentations. Yes. So, because it's very easy. I prepared a lot of sheets. You can receive them later with the dissemination of this Congress, the final conference. I think I recognized in the past months in the journey through DigiTeRRI, but also yesterday and today, we should rethink in the regions. We should rethink on the level of the municipalities. So I'm standing here as a representative of a small municipality. We are talking about a municipality with 16,000 inhabitants. My job was since 1993, I promoted, I organized and developed measures to integrate long-term unemployed persons in the region, integrate them back in the labor market. Very strange. Today we have heard Mr. Edler from the first. So my first project in 1993 in the region was how to bring people, long-term unemployed, back into the labor market, which were fired by companies like First, because there was a bad time in the region, in the economy, and my job was to develop measures how to bring them back. Now we're in a situation that we need the people. We need the people, the big companies, the small companies, you have heard it, searching for the people. Now the people are anywhere. We need them in the gastronomy, in the hotellery, we need them everywhere, in the social area. And that will be the big challenge. And that was also my part in the project. I was always the junior partner, because I'm responsible for employment service, I do city marketing, I developed in the last years 2 business parks in our city. We just bought a big area, and my next step is to develop this area to create new jobs, new services in the city of Brook on the Moor. As I said, a small city with small possibilities due to the financial situation. But my point of view is, please take care about the grassroots. Please take care, you're all experts, scientists. But we are talking about people people in the background which we need for the companies, for the SMEs and for the industry. So we developed actions. On our way with the roadmap, we developed actions. As Franz already said, we set up a lot of actions. And we also set up actions in the city of Brook-on-the-Moor. So, and the impact to us from DigiTeRRI was, we had 2 actions which I had prepared for today. One was, tried error, more or less, because it was a project which was coming out of the stakeholder process about blackout prevention. But blackout prevention with digitalization, so there is one missing link. The link is, if there's a blackout, you have no electricity. No electricity means, for the most of the people, no digital access. And on the other side, we had a project, because it was for me important, we have to sensitize the people. We have to sensitize not the management. The management is already sensitized. We had to sensitize the people which we need to work with digital instruments. And we had one basic small instrument, which is part of my presentation, which you will receive together with the documentation. It was a small project with QR codes, where we opened, for example, the access to the internet for small companies, small shops in the city of Brook-on-the-Moor, gave them the possibility, especially after COVID-19, when we recognized that a lot of the companies, the small companies, small family companies which are running shops in the city, lost the contact to their clients because they have no homepage, no online shops, and so on. So and we created an instrument how we bring them on a low level to the digitalization. But it's a small step for you as an expert, but it was a big step for the companies. And that's my point of view, and that's my impact, which I take out of DigiTeRRI and our city take out of DigiTeRRI. A lot of experts have great ideas. The industry is searching. The small and medium enterprises are searching for people. But do not forget how to activate the people on the grassroots and bring them to the digitalization. Thank you.
Thank you, Erich. You did it good. Wow. Yeah, because I have already pronounced that you will talk about blackout and about this shop, this QR code. And good that you mentioned it, because the people were curious to hear about. Now, I like to bring to the floor to the stage Stéphanie and Vincent. They do it together. Stéphanie works for the Grand Neuf in France. She's project manager there. She is an expertise in implementation of monitoring units in the field of business intelligence. And Vincent, I have already introduced him yesterday. He's professor at the University Lorraine, and he's co-founder from the engineering school dedicated to innovation. And they will present the impact in Grand Est.
Thank you, Marianne. So good afternoon. As you can see, we are a duo, so we are going to sing you a DigiTeRRI song. No, it's a joke. No, okay. No, just before speaking about the impact on Grand Est DigiTeRRI, I just would like to present you just some key figures about our region. Yes, it's the biggest region in this territory, but it's also a difficulty for us because it's quite big, so it's not always easy to attract people, as I told you yesterday. I let you a link to discover our region because we don't have enough time to show you this presentation, but I love the presentation from SFJ this morning. So we are a population about more than 5 million inhabitants. Concerning our size, it's the twice size of Belgium. We have the chance, for us it's really a chance to be a border region in Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany and Switzerland. And some economic points are we are the second region, so third French industrial region after Paris and Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes region, and second for agriculture. Our main industries are mechanics, agri-food industries, textile, chemistry, and medtech. And we have 6 clusters. So of course, Materialia, in materials and process, BioValley in health and medtech, Fibre Énergie in construction, Hydreos in water, PVF in mobility, and Bio for Change, the bioeconomy cluster. A cluster in France, it's gather, I would say, triple helix, which gather research, business, of course, and education. Just some key figures about our innovation, about our ecosystem innovation. We have 200,000, students in our region. Different universities. One of them is present here. It's University of Lorraine, with more than, I would say, 60,000 students. So in fact, it's the same number in Styria. 2 European campus, 5 Nobel Prizes winners, nearly, I would say, nearly 200 laboratories, and nearly 10,000 researchers. And other figures concerning our innovation ecosystem, we are more than 400 patents, 6 incubators, 1 accelerator, belong to Grant Enough Plus, and 3 incubators for students, and is not indicated in the slide, but we have to include it. We have, I would say, different, like KM0. We have, what's the name in English, tiers-lieu. So it's ecosystem. Is not indicated in this slide, but I think we have to add this kind of value-added ecosystem. And concerning our regional strategy, we launched in 2020, during the COVID context, the new plan called Business Act. It's the recovery and recovery plan for Grand Est region. In order to better support our companies, that is to say, industrial companies and also providers and also services providers, focused on 4 drivers, 4 aspects: digital, environment, industry 5.0, and health. And on this scheme, you can see we had a lot of works, that is to say, different projects to realize a scheme, Grand Est transformation, the new research center in the next slide, and of course, all the support we want to realize with our companies. To focus on digital aspect, we have the new name, JET, Grand Est Transformation Digital, focus on digital aspect. And on this scheme, you can see all the steps to support our company. from awareness until implementation. But Remi Pierrat will speak more about this regional strategy, so I'll let him the floor later. And to come back at DigiTeRRI Impact, because it's the most important here, it's important from my personal point of view. We are 3 regional partners, Continent Plus, the Regional Innovation Agency, Materalia, the cluster, which belong more than 100 members, and University of Florence. And for me, it was, first of all, important to better know each other, because for us, it's, I would say, a force, a strong, to after implement our actions on the territory. So I'll let the floor to Vincent if you want to explain better our impact.
Okay, thank you very much. Before explaining the impact of DigiTeRRI in our territory, I would refer to Helene. She said impact is more something like change. And I would like, if you agree with me, change and building. What we want is to, let's say, supply something new in the society. So change and building. To point out what we have done in Grand Est, I would highlight 3 elements. First, about strategy. What we wanted to do is not to, our role is not to define a new strategy of digitalization. It was to integrate RRI in the current strategy. And I will let the expert of this domain explain you the strategy and the way we diffuse RRI in this strategy. We are not elected representative for this moment. So this second point is to work on awareness, to explain what is RRI, what is responsiveness, and to explain to each other, to all our people we work with, that they have a role in the diffusion of responsiveness and RRI. And then one very important aspect is to build collaboration all over Europe. And the present event shows that we are the right place to live and the right place to develop new politics. So the first aspect is to integrate RRI in the strategy of our region. I would just say that we have a strong example and very practical aspect in the results, the outcomes we obtain in the region Grand Est. And for example, today there is a tool where you can integrate RRI in the selection of the best project to be funded in the region. So it's a wonderful results, and it's the result of many meetings, collaboration, and also demonstration. When we organize this roadmap with so many people, road mapping activities, it shows that we have a strong methodology, and I think it helps, let's say, decision maker to understand that RRI is very important. A second aspect is the process. We have to understand that we seek for outcomes, results, but what we are in charge is also the process. What is the dynamic we create on the territory? What kind of communication channels we create in our territory? And so road mapping, programs, demonstration is part of our result. I think we have improved and deployed a process of integration of RRI in our territory. And it's a result for me. And another aspect is to collaborate with existing structure, because there are so many entrepreneurs in the region. So to collaborate with them to improve the awareness, the general awareness about RRI. And so we participate, for example, in action called Digitalisation. Do you know, let's say a question, how many people do you think, what is the percentage of people in a rural area that never participate to a scientific conference? What would you say? How many, what's the percentage? 70? 95? Yeah, it's near 90%. 90%. And do you know, some participate and attend some conference through internet. So it's very, very low, in fact. So we participate to an action where we were going in small villages, present digital technologies and what is responsiveness around all these technologies. Another aspect is we are very proud to have present all the job opportunities to young girls at the high schools, college, and in primary schools and so on. So we presented all many opportunities. Zero? Ah, yeah, you're joking. What a stress. And so we are very proud because we have many female executives that presented job opportunities to very young women and explaining that you can work with a computer being responsible and trying to get a responsible sense in your life. So it was wonderful. We have hundreds of young women that participate to this action. So we really work and have results about awareness. Another aspect is that we decided with all the colleagues in Grand Est to add some action, to test some new action to develop awareness. And to when a few minutes ago someone say we have to share knowledge, okay? One company, when we were working about this roadmap and this visioning, said we have to change totally the relation between education and companies. So we decided to launch some action, and for example, Devi, my colleague, was in charge of a new program where executives of small companies and public institutions train in the same time with some students. So they work on the same training models, they work on the same exercises, and they develop together some digital device prototype. And so the way we share and experience and knowledge between executive companies and students was a kind of innovative way to develop responsible activities. Another aspect is also about the diffusion of a manifesto about artificial intelligence, and this manifesto has been signed by many companies and experts. And we also organize, our colleagues of Materialia organize a very interesting workshop about how you can find information on internet for companies with experts, but also with companies that have no people that are aware of all the opportunities and the possibilities to find information on internet. So at let's say a low level. One other aspect is about, and I will finish about with this aspect, is that we really have let's say, we are sure that we have built a European collaboration through all along this action process, and we really have started some sustainable relation with all the DigiTeRRI members, and it's very important, and it's a very wonderful outcome, and I think that we have a lot of perspective to make all these activities sustainable. Thank you.
I can use this. Thank you so much about that. I have prepared several questions to you. However, as Erich did, I changed them completely now. Because I thought, because Helene said, what is this about change? Impact is about change. And Vincent underlined it, this is about change and build. And now I would like to ask you, and this is about impact now, think 3-4 years ahead, 2025 or 2026, you remember, oh, there was some years ago DigiTeRRI Project, and then you think, yes, this change was initiated by DigiTeRRI. What do you think about your region? What can you tell something? I was in this DigiTeRRI team, and yes, we have initiated this change. Please, can you? Who would like to be the first? Yeah.
That was a really tough one, Marianne. It's a foresight in about 2 minutes of thoughts, so bear with me. I would say that in 5 years or 3 years, I think that the territory of Värmland and all the research and innovation organizations in Värmland actually will be functioning on a platform, an open platform. And I think that that would be an innovation in organization that also implies that you have to see what are the new processes of collaboration. And that would be an innovation of process, right? So 2 major innovations, how you organize in a territory that is as big as Värmland, or rather small in a European context. And 2, how you actually then create value in each step of collaboration. And the third one, and then that is, I think, thank you for bringing that up, is I think critical thinking is always good, and you should always point the finger towards yourself. Even though you want to do good in a project, you might also fail. And I think failure is actually a good thing if you do something about it, action. So an innovation or renewal of a way of working is also to engage the citizens of Värmland. Because I think that we in Värmland did not really succeed in that, bringing the citizens on equal terms to the table to discuss different perspectives in family life, in humans as private persons. Because I think that would bring more power, more creative thought, more new civil services. I think that we have to innovate the civil service. And I think that this implies that the services provided by the public sector needs to be more innovative as well. So as a public servant, I would say that our organizations have to change as well. So 3 innovations.
This remain from DigiTeRRI Project.
I would say it was enforced, the thought, and then brought into the strategy of Värmland, the innovation strategy of Värmland.
Great, wow, we did a good job. Huh? Yeah, okay. Now, and in Styria, Franz, how would you say, what remained, what will have changed? And you say, oh, wow, this was initiated by DigiTeRRI.
I think it's, what about the actions we did? So if we don't have these RRI keys, it's as guideline, it would organize different. So with that, it was more, we engaged more of the society, we have more cooperation, and that makes the actions that successful. So that was a benefit from the DigiTeRRI project.
Okay, yeah. Erich, how do you see this?
For me and for a small city, as I said, I think it's important. We have to do the next step. We have to open ourselves, our way of thinking, our way of working, our structures. We have to be more active in the direction of digitalization. And we already did some small steps within DigiTeRRI in the project period. So for example, Mike Ulm, who's sitting here, I think at the same place in the morning, Mike Ulm is one of the companies in one of our business parks. And we realized that there are some common ideas, and I think it's a kickoff. So DigiTeRRI was a kickoff for us to start with a process to make more advertising sensibilization into the local system. And that's one of the outputs of DigiTeRRI actually, and I think it will be growing in the future. And honestly, of course, some of the ideas we took for our actions, they came out of discussions with colleagues in this round. And if you look on our project QR code, you mentioned it, it will be in the presentation. Maybe someone here in the group will be remembered that we talked about it at the transnational meeting, and therefore I say thank you for this idea.
Thank you so much. How is the situation in Grand Est, Stéphanie?
In Grand Est region, I think we won a step on education because we engage several, and I would say more than 100, in fact, students, young people, and I hope we change their way of understanding too. Also illustration, photo, we use it to, we can reuse it in the future, so it helps us to remain also DigiTeRRI project. We will use it for other actions or and videos realized by WeDo. So for us, it's a positive point to, in 3 years or 4 years, I hope we will engage students also to create responsible, innovative products also.
Thank you. And Vincent?
Yeah, I'd like to highlight two aspects. The first one is methodologies. I think we really build all together some ways, some formalized approaches to develop RRI in our territories, and I think we can go on with these methodologies. So we have a structure to go on all together and to collaborate with people. This is the first aspect. And the second one is just people. At the very beginning, there was a little circle of person, very nice person, with a very good, very extraordinary manager. And then we were just few people in Vienna talking about RRI. And then in contest now, we have the beginning, we have built somehow a network of people. Many people knows around us what is RRI. We have students that understand what is RRI. We have executive people. We have people in rural areas that understand that there is something happening with responsiveness and digital devices. And so we have we are at the starting point of a network, and I think it's a social network, and it's very important.
Thank you so much. I wanted to start the next round, one more, about RRI, but you have already addressed this a little bit. What were the challenges and what will remain about RRI coming from DigiTeRRI in the region? You have addressed it already a little bit, but could you point out it a little bit more precise?
Well, I think, and please, my team Värmland, correct me if I'm misunderstood, but my perception was, as I said a little bit when I talked, is that we have all these concepts, all these words, right? So we have, let's pick some. It seems like, you know, if you say innovation, you have as many interpretation as people in the room. And it's just a small word, right? Or you say system innovation and somebody says, you mean innovation system? No, so all these words are quite hard to put flesh to actually get to a point where you have a collective understanding of what it means. And I think that is very important if you're going to do something together with other people or organizations. So for us, I think it was a struggle in the beginning to understand the conception of, okay, digitalization, digital transformation. That in itself is a rather big cloud of different meanings and, of course, then different disparative actions. So that was a territory to define and try to understand together with the team Värmland and all the stakeholders, right? But then you bring the concepts and meanings of RRI, and those two together, we had to work to understand how do we understand these together and how do we make it actionable together. And I think that it is, at least the last maybe 8 months or so, we are beginning to see that it actually is RRI by design. And then we can see that we are strong in certain areas like gender, or openness and so on, but we're maybe weaker in other areas. And so bring back to Professor, me and names, I'm terrible at names. I'm good at faces, bad at names. Yesterday talking about irresponsible innovation versus value-based innovation. And I think the aspects of RI we will keep thinking about and try to see how can we expand on that into everything we do. Actually, because that would bring the responsible side of innovation into our efforts in the territory and our financial, where we put our money, to be a little bit blunt.
Yeah, I have the picture in my mind that's about pushing and pulling. So the company, so it's about you and from René Schönberg yesterday, I think. It was in the slides. So it's like the companies who providing digital tools, digital apps and platforms and all, they want to push us, push the society, and the policy, they should steer that, they should lead them, but sometimes I think it's a hanging rope, so it's the development goes faster than we know where the way should go. And in that way, it's always good to have such an RRI approach and the values that we discuss it in the society. So that's in all steps of this development, of this transition. We go in a digital world, and digitalization is, there is no way around, and we shouldn't lose anybody in that way. So that's the RI concept is perfect.
Thank you. Erich.
So, sorry, I have to be the destructive person in this round. You said it. For me, it's the big challenge, how we bring RRI, the idea behind it, the concept behind it, to the grassroots, to the people out there to understand it. If you talk to someone on the road about RRI, he will look at you with big eyes and understand nothing. So we need a simple description. We had it in our roadmap process. We always started by zero, give the information, and I think it will be necessary to find a common, easy understanding version how to communicate what RRI means and offers to the people outside in the cities and in the regions.
Yes, of course, RRI was really difficult to explain to our society. So as Jean-Jacques said yesterday, we explain it with other words. related to responsible digital. But in grand test, related to gender equality, we had before DigiTeRRI Project actions. We strengthen it or reinforce it with some actions. But in the new societal challenges, RRI help us to integrate more citizens, large public in our, I would say, co-creation, workshop, and regional strategy. And we, concerning open access data, it's also a major challenges in our industry and in, I would say, every day of the citizens' life. So, a lot of work.
Just a detail. I think we learn a lot about DigiTeRRI and RRI, and one aspect is that now I think we are, with the help of all my team, we are able to teach and use RRI during a design process of a device. We know how to integrate RRI when you are doing creativity and select the best ideas. We know how to integrate RRI when you are doing a need analysis, writing down specification. We have learned to do that, and now we are able to describe these design methodologies, these design integrating RRI, and we are now able to develop this kind of approaches. And I think it's for us a big step. Thanks also all the colleagues, because they help us to understand what is RRI.
So I think this was the best summary we could talk about this impact on what is RRI later in your work and in the region. Is there any important question from the audience? Yeah, Remi von Schomberg.
Thanks a lot. No, let me first, I don't know, probably they already said it to you many times, but I think you need to really be congratulated for this terrific work. I mean, just the fact that you have engaged so many people and in a network across sectors, and it's rather impressive. So congratulations. I find this should be said. Then maybe a difficult question for you to answer, because I couldn't figure this out of your process. You know, you use some of the so-called keys on which I myself am sometimes rather critical, but in the sense that the keys themselves needs in the application to be transformed. You know, just to give an example, on ethics, for example, it's not about, normally people understand it as something what we should not do. But what you with RRI is more what you want to do. What do you want to get out of it? So it's more an ethics of construction rather than an ethics of constraint, which is the normal ethics is normal evaluative. So I have been always quite critical of. So in a sense, this key of ethics needs to be transformed itself. The same with education. We don't want the classical discipline-oriented education. We want a more challenge-based education. On gender, it's actually the same. It's not about just engagement of women. No, we want to have innovation with a vision which incorporates the vision of women as well. Huh? So, I mean, the classical example is, I think it's still nowadays the case, and that the safety of cars are tested with puppets of men 175 meters long or something like this. So, I mean, and the medicine, I think, apparently an expert told me 40% of the medicines don't work on women very well because they are most tested on males. I hope this is not true, by the way, but it sounds really bad. So, I mean, you have, in all the keys, there needs to be a transformation in itself. Did you experience this in your work? I mean, you had an impressive amount of people engaged on these issues, did you feel these tensions on these keys in themselves?
On the short, here we have short.
Okay, very short.
Okay.
Okay, very short. My analogy about the waves, that you have something that is moving far away on the ocean, I would say that is the RRI ship, right? And we were standing on the shore, seeing first one wave and thinking, whoa, something is happening. We don't know really what RRI could, how it could help us with the transformation in a more responsive and responsible way. And then the second wave and the third wave and the fourth wave, we started to include people. And we got a lot of help from the DigiTeRRI, all the partners, in trying to understand it. But the key for us, I think, was talking about it in the team Värmland with industry, with the university, with the public sector, and so on and so on. So creation of transformation, I think RRI gives a deeper sense of what change actually is, and change in a good way. I don't know if that answers it a little bit.
Yes, I agree with that. That's very fine. So it's we don't talk about gender itself. We talk about the gender discussion. We have experts in our events. They from different countries, and then you can hear about this for your exhibition stand, for your company. So the output is a development. Not we don't set the only truth or something like that. It's a development. I think. Create the yeah, but we create our goal in the future from the society, from our perspective. So.
I think it's understood that everyone says, but it's a way of create something, but it's also a way of train someone. Train to work with it, learn, teach them how to work with it and use it.
Really, in some words, talk to have a bigger impact on your, I would say, in all the community. I would say quadruplets. And if we do that, for us, it's one step away.
Well, I just want to share a part of our experience. We are in front of a lot of young people that are looking for a sense in their educational career, in their professional career, and so on. So, an RRI is a way to talk, just to talk, to have a reflexive process with them about the sense of their life, and this is all. And sometimes we are developing methodologies and so on, but the most important fact is that it's a way to discuss and have a reflexive, let's say, dynamic with the young people, in my side.
From my point of view, I think this is the further development. Of course, you initiated these ideas, and we discussed also about values in our workshops and when preparing. This is still ongoing. No? We know a little bit about RRI, and we are still ongoing in the processes. Okay, are you satisfied when I close the session now? Okay. And we have now a very important final keynote. Remi Pierrat is responsible for the 6-people team for Grand Enough, coordinates policies and ecosystem dedicated to supporting companies towards innovation and digital, industrial and environmental transition. He leads the smart specialization strategy of Grand Est region. And he is also an advisory board member of DigiTeRRI, and really, I'm grateful that you are here with us. You could make it, and please give him a warm welcome.
So, I'm going to talk about digitalization and responsible research and innovation. What a surprise. So, but I would like to, not especially to talk about digitalization and RRI and in the way we are already doing, but what we are going to build, what we want to build for the future, and how DigiTeRRI helps us to build it and to think about it. So, as you can see, the sun rise in east. Up.
Yeah. No, this one.
Ah, this one. It's green too. So, why Region Grand Test is interested in DigiTeRRI? So, you know us very well after 2 days of conference, so I don't give figures of us. But we are a public administration, so we have a large scope of intervention, and we are regional planning for economic and employment, higher education and research, environment or innovation, and many other things. So almost all our policies need to deal with digitalization. And so in economic development, research and innovation, we have 4 targets. It's engage territory and its ecosystems in the challenge of economic transitions and transformations. So strategies for industrial, ecological, and digital transitions, supporting all companies in their innovation initiatives, enhancing the excellence of research to transform it into economic development, and strengthening the funding chain of finance. So the region has a role to play to push companies towards digitalization and in a responsible way. So that's why I accept to be an advisory member, because it's important to public administrations to have this thinking about these topics. So first of all, I will talk about Grand Test Business Stack, like Stéphanie introduced before. It's our recovery plan we have launched in July 2020 in the middle of the COVID crisis. And it's with 3 targets: to restore confidence in our economy, to make people want to go to the Grand Test, and to adapt our financial engineering to our ambition. So we have built it with many contributions of the ecosystems and around the 4 challenges: digital, industrial, green, and health. The first result was 18 action, 40 projects, and 12 experimentations. But in 2022, we launched the second act of Business Act, and in 3 ways. We have action sheets, 158 partnership targeted projects. We have Grand Test Transformations Units, the JET, which are resource and expertise centers, facilitators of communities of solution providers, and the Transformation Support Path, which is a specific overall support for each company. So this path, this supporting path, is built with 4 steps. Awareness at the first place. So we want to help companies in an individual way to raise their awareness to the specific transformation issues like ecological impact or digitalization. So it's an auto-diagnosis to help them to ask themselves these questions. And after we set up a 360-degree diagnosis to identify their lack of maturity in these domains, and to after have a transformation roadmaps with the company, where we give an individual support, which is roadmap to build the transformation unit to help them to have the maturity of this domain. So after that, we implement some solutions and financing, also financing solutions. So with local and proximity operators, human support, skill and trainings, and financing. So the JET unit, there are 4 of them with the 4 challenges, was expertise and solution members to help this supporting approach. So what we want to create is a trust relationship with each company, and especially SMEs, because big industry have not these needs. So it's a major new method. We want to have a specific help for each company which are needed to pass a level of maturity. So I would like to focus on digital jet missions. So it is structuring and coordinate communities of providers and stakeholders, contribute to the transformation of organization and companies, anticipate key skills needs, facilitate access to talent, and make it shine, attracting new solution providers and talent. And for Digital Jet, there is a 5th mission, is to promote digital responsibility. So that in that way, DigiTeRRI helps us to think about this operational declination of these policies, because each jet unit are declined in few strategic activities areas, built around themes identified as strategic for the region. So we have experts in the field, professionals and academics, and led by Grantsinov, and organized in 2 levels, a community of providers subject to expertise, a co-working group for 10 or 20 members. So our strategic areas are artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, cloud, immersive technologies, modernization of IT infrastructure and usage, emerging technologies, and also digital responsible. So in these specific areas, we want to develop green IT and IT for green, inclusion, digital sovereignty, and ethics. So DigiTeRRI helps us to think about these topics and to have operational demonstration of this policy. So I put some examples of new methods with the both approaches, digitalization and RRI. So we work with Grantsinov on inclusion in the auto-diagnosis and the 360 diagnosis with this question, because it's a lot of questions we have to put on with companies. And we have also in Green IT is the Sorizo platform, which is a platform which helps companies to meet the providers of solutions in green technology. And we have also a grid school agreement with innovative training methods. And I can notice 2 financing of Simplon and Microsoft School, or School 42 you saw yesterday, or Keynote. So after our business act, we have also a strategic innovation for smart specialization strategy in Grand Est. So it's gathering 3 old strategies of our old territories, Alsace, Lorraine, and Champagne-Ardenne. And so, first of all, it's a mandatory condition to reach European regional development funds for innovation, but it's also our innovation regional strategy. And it helps us to define strategic areas of activities for supporting research and development, and to hold markets with high growth potential, and to put companies at the heart of innovation with a bottom-up approach. So we have built our S3 in 2 ways, crossing 2 ways. So the transformation, industrial transition, green transition, and digital transition, and our 3 pillars of economy, industry, health, and bioeconomy. So we have 8 priorities, but we have additional priorities for rethinking the economy and innovation in the context. So we have digital transformation and AI development, responsible innovation, social innovation, industrial relocation, and short circuits. So for digital transformation, we have the deployment of artificial intelligence use, renewing the support engineering offer, ensuring cyber resilience and cyber security. And for RRI, we want to directing research and innovation toward a sober approach, a repeatable result, ethically acceptable and beneficial to society, to recreate and facilitate the population's acceptance and organizations to transitions, and involve society in innovation as early as possible. So digital transformations and RRI have a central position in our social priorities, which have to feed into our 8 S3 priorities. So what we have to do now, it's with the JET, which are the units for the governance of the S3, we want to set up a governance with specific animation about RRI with the digital JET, an assessment and evaluation which setting up specific indicators on digitalization and RRI, raising awareness of RRI in the allocation of subsidies with eligibility requirements, and to put specific indicators will be requested from project leaders to help us to evaluate our impact and to change our policies when the goals are not obtained. So we have beginning to work with Granthinov to match the KPI of DigiTeRRI and our priorities, and we have some samples of indicators we can set up. So I could go further if you have questions. So, but how we could go further after that? So we have an artificial intelligence plan since few years, but we have an European ambition. We want to put Grand Est region at the heart of European strategy in AI with our partner Germany, Switzerland, Luxembourg, and Belgium. So with a link to a project of European Digital Innovation Hub, so DigiTeRRI could help us to work with these partners. And we have 2 main goals, inclusion and ethics, to address. So what are the lessons learned from DigiTeRRI? The first main risk identified for me is the digitalization and RRI are very wide topics that brings together many policies and stakeholders. So DigiTeRRI help us to have an approach for this main risk, and it gives us methods and tools to work on these cross-cutting approaches. And so for example, the complementarity of the consortium, it was a good exhaustive vision to help us to have a local approach and also European approach, and the exchange of experience with different cultures, which give us a vision of what we could do in common, and working methods with especially the visibility of stakeholders, which helps us as a region to draw our policies. So how DigiTeRRI could go further? you bring a common model of methods and values. You could disseminate the concept of the roadmaps in other European territories. We could also increase the impact in European level in networks like European Research and Innovation Networks, such as S3 platforms. And I like the expression think big, act local, because we couldn't go further if we not implement these outcomes in our administration. So I would like to implement these outcomes and your thinking to our strategy and to our leaders. And especially the important is the education. So we have to embrace the population with these thematics. And for example, what you have done with the art work or your multilingual website is it steps to help to education of people. So it's simple, but what you have done is very important, because as a public administration, we have in first matter financing approaches, but we don't take time to have this approach of digital responsible, and it's important to have this thought, especially with the new methods we are creating. So I put you some examples of what we want to develop. So to raise awareness of the ecosystem, the participation of and inclusion of the citizens, checking the conformity of projects, and skills and acculturation of ecosystems. So to go further, I put you some other examples of action which are not very wide diffusion in generally. So Hub East, Maya projects, and third places, which I invite you to go to the website. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I mean, I think this was once more a highlight which impact DigiTeRRI can have. Great, thank you that you take this, and I think this was a really good, more or less, closure of the conference. Thank you so much. I have to close the conference, but first I have to say, all we two people, Angel, where are they? They are not in here. Ah, yeah, Mario, Mireia, bring all to the stage, please. It's not necessary to say anything more. We have talked a lot, so. Then you, Mario, please. You have to represent we do now. Come here, come to me, come to me. So I would wanted to have also Angel and Mireia, you know. Mireia, come to the stage, please. I don't know where Angel is, I have no idea. Yeah. So, and Angel, you saw him yesterday already. They, we two team, did this facility, I think, facilitating the conference. They did the technical stuff, all these wonderful pictures and these things, but also that the conference can run smoothly. They insisted to have a stage. They insisted on to have the technical support, and he'll come. So without you, this conference would not be so a success. Yeah, really. Thank you so much. And one very important person, she could not come to Vienna. She is in Barcelona. This is Veronica. Veronica did a lot of work. Really, we communicated a lot with her. We discussed. We improved. Yeah, all these things. Thank you so much. Give them a. And then I ask Andre, Sabine, Manfred. Where is Manfred? Andrea, come. Manfred is here, yeah. So, and this is the AIT team. Without them, it would not be possible to have this conference. So Sabine did a lot of work. I thank you so much. And always when I have a question, can we do this in this way? Also, I go to Manfred and say, let's discuss. Andrea organized the Hofburg visit. I think she didn't expect that it's so much work. And all the other things. Thank you so much. And also Beatrix is also one of our team members. She cannot be with us because she has a kick-off meeting for another project, but she organized the catering and everything. And I have also to thank the territorial coordinator. This is Jacques in France, Eamon in Värmland, and Bridget in Styria, because without your support, we could not have the local people from there. Jacques could manage that. We have Caroline here, we have Patrick here. Bridget managed to have Mike Ulm here, and Shikova, and Iris Wilswieser and Föstalpine, and so on. And Värmland, great work. We managed to have here Ingrid, Dan, help me now, Annelie, Andreas, yes. Anders, I forgot somebody, no? We pair, of course, yeah, but also people from outside the DigiTeRRI team. I think we had representatives from companies, Ahmed, from outside DigiTeRRI in the competence education in this session, in business session, and so on. And I thank you so much that we could make it. Great. Caroline, we have just talked about you. Thank you so much. And okay, and also the advisory board member, Andreas Kassler, supported us, and Remi Pierrat, and thanks that Morten is here with us, and Iris Wilswieser, to the morning, she's also in the advisory board, and I thank all of you that we could make it, we could discuss. Thank you. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. Just a moment, because I know everybody wants to leave. So I would like to again congratulate everybody's effort definitely in this, but definitely you, Marianne. because you really lead a process that is complicated. So I really want to, I think, speaking on behalf of everybody, I think that's the point, tell you that this has been a success of a conference. I think you managed to bring a lot of relevant, meaningful, important people to the conference. I think that's an important legacy, what we've done. I think we learned a lot. I think we were praised as well, and I think that's a very important achievement. And I think I'm echoing what I've been heard from the others. This has been a wonderful conference in a wonderful place. So thank you very much for making this.
Thanks.